So it's been a while. Welcome back to my Ramadan reflections. Today's topic is gonna be family. Now let me just blow your mind 1 second. Watch this. What does family stand for? Father and mother, I love you. I didn't come up with that, but I was just as shocked when I found out the first time. Don't remember when. So originally I was actually going to talk about coronavirus and all the positive benefits of all this time in quarantine, being able to spend time with yourself, doing things you wouldn't normally be doing, spending more time with your family. But just recently it hit me that this COVID-19 is actually taking people away from families permanently. And really only until someone you know personally passes away, only then do you really register like, hold up, this is very serious. You need to play your part and you need to be thankful for what you have. So that's why I changed it to family, because alhamdulillah, I am here with mine. But today I'm going to tell you the story of an international student traveling abroad for 5 years and the effect that had on me, my relation with my family, and what I would do differently and what I would recommend to you guys, friends of people who have lived away from family. So let me describe to you now in my current state of being what my definition of family is. Family is the only group of people that you can experience unconditional love and care from. If they are not family, don't expect it. That's what I learned from my time in England. And I know you have those friends that are like family. It takes years to establish that. 10, 15 years before you can really say, okay, yes, they are family. You fought, you made up, you traveled together, all of this stuff. I guess, yeah, they're like brothers and sisters you got to choose. But when you're stuck in a country, you only have your friends at your immediate access and your family is far away. You start to think that your friends are family. That's normal. But hold up and just step back and think, okay? I know there are people who like love their friends and they treat them with all this respect and they really believe that they are always there for me, and they turn to their family and they're just like, you don't understand me, and then they just take their family for granted. But think again. Who loses sleep when you don't message, I reached home? Who sits down and prays that you have a successful life and that you pass your test? Who sacrifices their life so that you can live a better life? Who worries and thinks about your future, is concerned about what type of house you end up in, who do you get married to, how your kids are gonna be? Like, who thinks about these things? Your friends don't think about that stuff. Your family does. And I guess when we're young, you don't really realize the value of having a family and how lucky we are to have one even. And that's what I'm here to talk about and share with you, is a story about how I left my family, went to go study abroad. I got lost and forgot that I even had one, but then was lucky enough to come back and truly learn the value of having a family and being part of one. And just a quick message before I start to all of you who are living abroad away from your families, my heart goes to you. It must be so difficult. I've been through something similar, but I can't imagine this. I mean, global pandemic, you're stuck at home, you can't work, you're not going to university, you can't see your friends, you can't go outside, or you shouldn't be. On top of that, it's a Ramadan. If you're fasting, like, that makes it even more long. The days are longer. And then you're away from your family. Like, this is the perfect time to be with your family. I am so blessed, I am so lucky, but I am so sorry. If you are watching this, I am so sorry that you're in that position. Honestly, I'm hoping that maybe this could lighten it up. It probably won't, because it's a really depressing story. And I'm going to be talking about family and probably reminding you and making you reminisce. So maybe it's better you don't watch. But if you do choose to watch, then enjoy. So, I was 18 when I left. Grew up in the bubble of my home and my family, loved by all. I was the baby. And then I was super excited and I flew to London to go study dentistry. Initially, it feels like, oh, so exciting. I can't wait to leave. I can't wait to do all these things that I wouldn't do and I didn't even do. But the excitement's there, and so you don't really register how depressing it can actually be. First 2 weeks, my parents were there, helped me settle down. I missed all of Freshers Week, made no friends. And then came the day that they were leaving, and I remember them sitting in the taxi, okay? They were sitting in the taxi, they put all their suitcases there, and I'm waiting for them, and like in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna start this journey of mine. And then as soon as the doors closed and they started driving off, this wave just hit me, and I was like, they just left me, they're leaving me in another country. They just left me here. I started running after the taxi, proper Bollywood movie. I'm running, I can see my mom, she's crying. It was dramatic. And then I walked back home. It was raining and it was sad. I was crying and it was a Bollywood movie. So obviously my parents would visit as much as they can. I'm sure if circumstances were different, they would have moved to England. I know for sure they're not gonna let me live alone ever again, like especially not after this video. When they hear this, it ain't happening. So without trying to offend anyone, in first year, I made loads of friends. You go to that Pakistani event, everyone's like, oh my god, we're all Pakistani, oh, we're all gonna get married to each other. And that never happens. And you make this massive WhatsApp group. And by the time you graduate, you don't even speak to any of them. That's what's gonna happen when you go to uni. If you're listening to this and you haven't been to uni, that is what's gonna happen in your first year. And amazing, like when I'm making these friends, right? Imagine my heart is like this. Like half of it is made of family, now this half is missing. And so I'm trying to like build it back up and I'm trying to find people who will fulfill this emptiness inside me, right? So I see someone who looks like my brother and I was like, oh, my brother's here. And I will see someone who reminds me of my father. I'm like, oh, my father's here. Someone who loves me like my mother. I'll be like, oh, we're not friends, we're family. I was delusional. I was trying to make my own family in England to just fill up this void inside of me, which I didn't register. I was doing any of this. Looking back, I was. See, everyone else would have thought I was weirdo. Like, why does she love me so much? That's so weird. It is weird, okay? I agree. But this is why. And now looking back, I can also understand why you didn't love me back. I'm not talking about a guy, by the way. I'm talking about like my girls and guy friends. Like why it wasn't reciprocated at the level that I was. One, I'm different, and two, it's just that whole my family's missing. Bear in mind, there were like 10 international people I knew, but they were all Malaysian, so they had their own crew. I was Pakistani, and so I fit in with all the Desis, 90% of kings, and they all had a home. They all had their family like an hour away, 2 hours train, or just a tube away. They wouldn't be able to understand me. There is no way. Like, you can travel for months and like miss your family, but you're traveling, you're having fun, you're doing things that you want to do. I came to study, okay? 1 year master's degree, no big deal. 3 years, 5 years, pushing it, okay? 3rd year, I cracked it. 4th year, I was depressed. 5th year, when I started to like realize what was going on, and then 6th, there was no 6th year. And then I worked, very busy, came home. Oh, peace. And I remembered, oh my God, I have a family. I'm actually part of one, and all the So this is the problem that I was facing. So I would go and I'd love someone like family and I would expect the same, and I wouldn't get that. And so I thought these people are mean and they don't like me, or there's something wrong with me, probably. And then I would feel down, okay? I'd feel really down. I wouldn't be able to pinpoint why. I would always be like, oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Da, 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 da. You know, my parents, they'll recognize, they'll be like, oh, Shrinya, how's it going? They call me, and it's impossible to call Dubai because they've blocked everything. On top of them being like seas away from me, 7 hours flight away from me. On top of that, I couldn't even contact them normally. No FaceTime, no WhatsApp call. There's none of this stuff. They blocked it. No Skype, nothing. There's something called Bottom? Whatever it is, and it's crap. It doesn't work. It's always so sketchy. I would be on the phone and I'd want to talk to them and I'd want to tell them like, you know, like this happened and I don't understand and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I get annoyed because like, how dare the internet be the reason that I can't talk to my family? How dare? And I'd get annoyed and then be like, oh, whatever. I wouldn't bother telling the story. And then I close the phone, and then I'm sat there feeling down, get too irritated to call, and they don't really know what I'm going through.
Fast forward a little bit.
I started to seek help in my friends. Alhamdulillah, I had friends that were there for me, okay? I had like neighbors, they were literally like just across the street from me. I used to live alone. They always invited me. They always let me know like, you know, Shireen, you come over anytime, and I was always there. Red door number 5. It was beautiful, forever grateful. But the thing is that I don't think any of my closest friends even, I don't think they can ever even imagine that feeling of living away from home. That feeling of having to pay your bills and study and cook for yourself and take care of yourself, and with that anxiety knowing that God forbid something happens to me. It's not like my dad can just come over and be like, Shireen, what's wrong? No. If something happens to me, 24 hours later is the earliest time that someone from my family can actually be with me. And that fear is constantly living in the back of your head. Might not be something that I always think about, but it's there. And we know, we're all smart, intelligent people. We know how strong that subconscious is, the effect it has on our day-to-day basis. So now I'm in like second, third year, okay? You know, I had some good friends that were really nice, and I still had some friends that, you know, I saw my brothers, my sisters, like they were my family. But then slowly started to realize that, hold up, like they're keeping tabs on me. I don't know family that does that, but they were serious, you know, like, Shireen, you didn't say this, and Shireen, you didn't text me this, and you didn't reply to me, and I can't believe you called me that, and I can't believe at this specific time, on this specific date, this specific person said that you said this, and I didn't like it. You didn't even apologize. What? Who does that? Anyway, apparently people do that, but family doesn't do that, and that's when I realized, okay, these guys, not my family. It was actually painful. It's like you lost a family member. To me, I lost a family member. To them, it was just like, okay, this person doesn't care about me, and so like, good riddance. I don't know what it was, but it is what it is. So then all these problems happen, and so I learned, okay, we need to tiptoe around a lot of people. Don't be yourself, don't be too honest, and don't love too much. I had to dim my light, as someone once nicely put it, so that I can get by without all of these issues. So now I'm like tiptoeing with what I say, and that started to trickle into the way I was treating my family. They'd ask me, Shireen, how are you? And I'd just be like, I'm fine. Because I'm so used to not actually expressing myself, because if I did, I'm gonna get this whole report back about all the things I forgot to say and all the things I did say and how they didn't like it because I was feeling something. And so then I started to treat my own family like that, which was the biggest mistake. I wish I could go back and tell myself, Shireen, don't. Your family loves you, and you say whatever you want and they'll still love you. But I started to believe that, okay, the things that I say will affect the way people love me. And then I started doing that to them. And then it becomes this really deadly cycle. And I hope if you are an international student, if you are going to university, listen, don't do this, okay? Always express what you're feeling, because your family, they will listen, they will care. So what happened is that I'd pick up the phone. So now, one, I hate the connection problems. And two, I've learned to filter, you know, what I say and what I don't say. So I'd call, and I'd be like, Shireen, how are you? Huh? I'm fine. And then in my head, I'm like, I don't miss you. I don't wish you were here. I don't wish that I had a home to come back to. I don't wish that when I was studying, Mama would bring almonds and fruit for me. I don't wish that I'd come home to a ready cooked meal. I don't wish that when I'm sad, someone will cook my favorite meal because they just love me that much. I wish that when I'm sad, I can go and curl up in my dad's arms and just be sad, because it's okay to be sad. I don't wish to have bants with my brother and not have to think about everything that I say and, you know, will he get offended? I just wish I could be me again. And I never wanted them to feel like I was down, because I don't want them to doubt and be like, oh, my poor baby, like, why did we send her? Maybe we shouldn't have done this. We should have just kept her here. It's okay. Like, I don't want them to think that. Like, I would always try and put up this like strong front, like, I'm fine. I'm doing what I love. I wanted to be a dentist. I asked for it, like, da-da-da. Like, under that mask, there was a very, very sad girl. Very sad girl, and that sadness really affected the way I started to treat people, the way I started to see myself. I felt so alone. That loneliness is a horrible thing. You try to turn to religion, you try and turn to your friends, you try to turn to anything that will make you feel better. Nothing fills it the way your family does. The way trust and confidence in your family does. That's what I was missing because of a result of all the things I just explained to you. And living so long in London, I mean, one, the weather is just crap there. And two, the people generally very reserved, very cold. It made me like that. And then when my parents would come to visit, they were exactly the same as they were. And they were exactly like what I was. But I wasn't. I was this cold, reserved, always on the defense. Like, you're about to attack me and I'm gonna fight back. It's a horrible state to be in. But I think that's what that city does to you. And I feel like people who are brought up there, they don't realize what they're like that. No offense, but you're gonna get offended. Anyway, doesn't matter. That created a lot of confusion from their side. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this girl? Because one, I don't tell them, and then two, I'm acting weird, and three, like, it's just confusing, because that's not who I was when I left. I would have flipped completely 180 degrees in their eyes. Like, you know, 1 second I was like that, and 1 second I'm like this. Like, what the heck? And then I started to see them like, my friends, you guys don't understand me either. I'm just alone again. And now when I look back, I realize I made myself alone. okay? Don't do that, ever. Communication is really important, I realized. Communication. I should have talked more. I should have expressed more. I shouldn't have tried to hold back to protect their feelings. Like, I am their daughter. I have the right to express my feelings. And they would have listened and they wouldn't have reacted as dramatically. But anyway, now I'm much better. I love my family. I look back, I see my mistakes. Would I do it again? Never. But would I wish that that didn't happen? Probably not, because that's where this really beautiful journal entry by Mariana comes in. She said it to me just a week ago, but it's so applicable to right here. And it's like, thank you, past self, for I am who I am because I was once you. And that's very true. I feel a much stronger bond with my family. I feel way closer. I feel so much more comfortable to like be myself with them, and I feel like I understand them more and they understand me because I opened up, and I can't stress enough how important it is to do that. Don't live two lives. Don't do it. All of the weird friendships that I made, they taught me that I have a very loving family. I come from a very loving family, and I am a product of a very loving family, so there is nothing wrong with me. I am not too loving. I am not too extra. I am not too caring. I'm just a product of where I came from. And when I look back at some of these friends, again, I'm not sitting here, they are bad people. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm seeing is that maybe they are just a product of their environment. If someone like me can become cold and like step back and like always just fearful that someone's gonna, attack me, I became that because of my environment. Now imagine someone who's brought up there. But the way I'm describing it is a bit extreme, obviously, because it's very different to me. But over there, that's the norm, and that's normal, and that's okay. I just don't want to be a part of it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm making it sound like my university life was horrible. It was an amazing experience, and I made really, very, very close friends, like friends for life, and they know who they are. And now I'm coming to the section where I'm looking back at what could have happened that would have made me feel more at home. And this is a message for anyone who knows anyone who's living away from home. I'm gonna share with you what I appreciated and what I would have liked. So one of my most cherished memories from university was second year in Ramadan. Now in Ramadan, on the first day, every single year, alhamdulillah, I managed to do this, but every single year on the first day of Ramadan, I would invite anyone to come over for iftar. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if you had a family here or not. It didn't matter if you were Sunni, Shia, I don't know what. It didn't matter if you were even Muslim, okay? If you were fasting, not fasting, it didn't matter. My house, first day of Ramadan, everyone's coming for iftar. So that I can feel like I have a family, so that everyone else feels like, fine, if you weren't able to go home, you have a family here. And I remember they used to think I was so weird, like, Shireen, wow, that's really sweet of you. And I'm like, this is normal. Why is this such a big deal? Anyway, I am like that. I am bragging about myself now. But no, there was this one moment where I was truly surprised, and this memory I will die with. Like, it is so close to my heart, and I don't even think they realized the impact it had on me, and like how much I love them for doing that, and how grateful I am that, they did that for me. It was so beautiful. I live away from home. Okay, I don't have the luxury of home cooked food or like coming home to smiles and hugs and stuff like that. I don't have that luxury. I had a friend, very sweet, she was sick and she fasted with me, support. And she wanted to try it out. We went to my apartment and we were inside, and I was just like fixing a few things for iftar, and then like randomly I heard a knock on the door, and I was like, that's so weird, like who is this? I go outside and I open the door and I see like, surprise! And it was my Spasan crew, and they all jumped in front of me, and each one of them was holding home-cooked meal. Not a single one of those guys were fasting. It was a very beautiful moment. And thank you. If you're watching, thank you, because I still remember that. I will always remember that. And those are the things that fill that void, yeah? The things that I needed to fill that void were things that family would do for you. So here are a few other things that would fill that void, okay? So if you know someone, here are some tips. 1, pick up and drop-offs from the airport. It's a very lonely thing to travel from Heathrow all the way to central London. So if you can accompany someone, or better yet, drive them to the airport or pick them up, like that is a beautiful, beautiful moment, okay? And every surprise that I got at the airport, is remembered, because that made me feel like I was missed by someone. Like they missed me enough to make this effort. Like that's what family does. But to know that there's someone on the other side of the world also makes you feel that way. It's just nice. Especially when you've just left home and you took this 7-hour lonely flight back to England. Cold, it's raining and everything. And there's someone waiting there for you. That's a very, very, very comforting feeling. 2, home cooked food. If you live at home and if your mom is cooking for you, a little box of like extra food, like leftovers or even specially made for you, goes a long, long way. Sure, I became a super expert at making omelets and stuff, but have like dal chawal and like stuff like this that you don't make. I used to get chole bhature from someone and it was just, it's a very, very loving feeling, you know, that feeling that someone cooked something for you or they thought about you, that, you know, this person doesn't have their mom's home cooked meals. Like everyone knows that mom's food is the best. I don't have that. I didn't have that, you know? And if you can share your mom's food with someone, it goes a long way. 3, invite them to your house. Don't just throw out the invitation like, oh, mi casa es tu casa, like come over whenever. Like no, like that's very, especially in England, like I don't know, like do I take the offer, do I not? Like are you gonna record it and like expect something in return? Like don't do that. You tell them, right? You tell them this. Hi, international friend. I know that you probably miss your home so much and you probably miss having a family around you. I'd love for you to come over this weekend, set a time so that you can just come, relax, you know, have my mom, my dad around you and just feel like you have a family here. I know we're not your real family, but it's as close as it can be. Oh, that would be very, very nice. That would be very nice. And alhamdulillah, like, you know, some of the Eids that came, my family wasn't around, like I got to spend it at my friend's house. Again, it will be remembered. Be remembered. These moments where my friends took on the role of family and they were there. I love you for it. Really, really, you don't understand how important it was for me then and how important for me it is still, like now. I remember these moments, like, thank you for being family. So I know this video went on for way too long, but I really appreciate those of you who made it to the end. It's just something that I really felt the need to share. In the end, these are my own personal reflections that I'm sharing with you, so I don't really care if you watched it or not. But I know my parents are gonna make me put it on the TV so that they can watch me. They're my #1 fan. That's another thing. Your family is gonna be your #1 fan, whether you're good or not, okay? So never take their opinion because it's definitely biased. But yes, Mama, Baba, and Isham, I love my family. I should probably call it famably. Father and mother and brother. I love you. Bye, guys.